everyone, how's it going? So Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a hugely successful IP from Sony. Despite only having one game and one DLC to its name, it sold around 7.5 million copies, and people have been asking for a Bloodborne remaster or remake for like ever, especially with the PS5 Pro out, PS5 in general. The game's about to hit 10 years old. And on top of everything, like, Sony has remastered a lot of games that didn't really need it. Like, for example, the recent one being Horizon Zero Dawn, which I 100%ed, and I was just like, why is this game being updated? They remastered The Last of Us Part 1, which, granted, the cutscenes look better, but it removed the multiplayer content, and again, why? And then The Last of Us Part 2, which again, why? But what really stoked a lot of flames was the 30th anniversary of PlayStation, and they had this literal segment. It's all about persistence, and this has a dual meaning, because it can mean that they're going to release a Bloodborne remastered, but we all know that when it comes to From Software games, that's kind of the motto when it comes to their titles. It's about persistence. You fail, you try again, you fail, you keep trying again until eventually you succeed. It's about learning the patterns and determine what your breaking point is to not have that and keep moving forward. Like with the freaking was it the Bed of Chaos? I hate that boss fight. But yeah, but a lot of people have been asking for this because Bluepoint has done a really good job. This is Shadow of the Colossus HD from the PS3 era. You can see how this game looks pretty good, you know, compared to the PS2 version. I don't have a PS2 video, but this is the remake for the PS4. Looks absolutely incredible, and I say this game deserves to release on PC more than anything, because the modders will put in the cut colossi that I've been wanting in this game for like ever. And of course they did also remake Demon Souls for the PS5, which seemed popular acclaim. I never played it, but let's see what Yoshida says about the Bloodborne remaster and his theory.
Will we ever see Bloodborne again?
Oh, yeah. You'd want, right?
We'd want it.
Yeah, so Bloodborne is one of the most
Really
popular asks on my Twitter X channel. People like, other popular things, luckily is one of my games, if they stay with a sequel or Legend of Dragoon, with remake or something. But Bloodborne has always been the most asked thing. And the people wonder why we haven't really done anything, like even like update, or
a
remake,
remaster,
or remaster, should be easy, right?
Yeah,
Common
super easy. Hit the button.
Known for doing so many remasters, right?
Yeah.
Some people get frustrated.
Screw 'em.
Well, I have only my personal theory
Okay.
to that situation. I left first party, so I don't know what's going on.
No one's
But
saying-
my theory is, because I remember, Miyazaki-san really loved Bloodborne, what he created. And so I think he is interested, but he's so successful and he's so busy. So he cannot do himself, but he doesn't want anyone else to touch it. So that's my theory.
Okay.
And the PlayStation team respect his wish. So that's my guess, right? Theory. I'm not revealing any secret information.
No.
To be clear.
Hopefully Jordan Midler will still make an article about it, but I understand you're not revealing anything.
So a lot of things to deconstruct there. So this is not the confirmation, this is his theory. He left PlayStation a while back, but I think he's right. First off, From Software and Miyazaki are huge names within the gaming industry. Anything that's FromSoft or Miyazaki related instantly will get 1 million plus sales. It's just inevitable. Even niche titles like Armored Core 6, which I love. That's my favorite From Software again, despite the fact I never played another Armored Core game, but I really love that one. I love big robots. But in this case, From Software also releases a steady stream of games. Like, think about it. They released Elden Ring, then Armored Core 6, then Shadow of the Erdtree last year. So they have a really good track record when it comes to efficiency and releasing their games, to not announce them too early and ensuring that their games just speak for themselves. The second you release anything From Software related, all eyes are on that game. So I think the biggest thing is that he's right. If Miyazaki doesn't want anyone to touch this franchise. He wants to be the one to do it, and the fact that he's super busy because he's so popular, everyone wants another game from him all the time. I think that would be true, but most importantly, with the remaster situation, like I said, Bluepoint has done some incredible work, and I think it would be fantastic, but they're right now working on a new IP. As you can see down here, this person conveys that they are working on their new IP. But
will we ever see...
you know, if we do get a new Bloodborne game, you would want Miyazaki to head it, and I don't think they want a sour relationship with him in any regard. Like, think about it like this. Like, if they want to do a remaster, they're probably going to have to get the blessing from Software, despite Sony does own the IP for Bloodborne, but it would look really bad that if you just said, hey, we're just going to do a remaster with this studio and we're not even going to tell you about it. I feel like that would be a little insulting to Miyazaki and From Software, so maybe that's the situation. They just don't want to have any type of bad blood between the two, even if it's just like, hey, we do own the IP, we can do whatever we want with it. But that's kind of how I see it. And when it comes to Bloodborne, I say just let them cook. Like, yeah, it's going to be about 10 years since we've seen the original game. I just platinumed the game. I would love to see more of the title. But I think a game made out of passion and a game that they want to make will be so much better than something that's just forced out of the door. And a great example of that would be Call of Duty. Like, despite the recent Call of Duty being popular, people start to see all the issues that are problematic with the Call of Duty franchise that are still mounting up with cheating, technical issues, so many other issues that they just refuse to fix or just can't fix because they are such on a sweatshop level mentality of making that game. With From Software, regardless of what they release, they always have that massive degree of quality. Like with Shadow of the Erdtree, where it felt like its own entire game. Armored Core 6, when they turned on the multiplayer servers, it worked on day one. Yes, it's not as complicated as Call of Duty's multiplayer systems, but it worked. Literally, you turned it on and it worked, and you can get into matches and fight one another. And you don't see that nowadays. Like, games release broken, they have massive glitches, massive problems. With From Software, you never have to worry about that. So, and you always know you're getting a game that's made for passion. It's made of a game that they wanted to make. And I would rather wait 15 years even for a Bloodborne 2 if it was made by a team that said, we want to make this game, we want to do this, we want to make this happen, instead of a game that's like, oh, fans just want a Bloodborne 2, let's just shove something out of the door. Like, I prefer that type of game development, and it's something that used to happen back in like the N64 days and the PlayStation days. You don't get that as much nowadays, so I would rather wait for it. And the thing when it comes, I know I'm rambling a bit, but I've played so many From Software games that when it comes to From Software games, there is never a canon ending. Yeah, there are connections between Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, and, you know, when it comes to these games, they always live on like kind of a floating timeline where whatever ending that you make. With Bloodborne, the endings, any one of the endings are a true ending depending on the player themselves. Whatever you choose as that ending, whether you helped Eileen or killed her, whether you decided to kill Simon right away and take his bow, or allow him to go through his quest, which, you know, From Software, it always ends with death or some sort of calamity. But in that case, it's always up in the air. I would love to see a Bloodborne 2, but I want them to make it because they want to make it, not because, you know, the market demands it. That's how I've always loved From Software, and I hope that's what they do in the future. We might have a Bloodborne 2 in development right now, and he's just keeping his lips shut. You never know, because NDAs are pretty powerful, but I could be wrong about that too. But, you know, it's hard to ignore that he's not aware about the popularity of Bloodborne and how much Miyazaki has loved the Bloodborne franchise. But just wait and see. Like, I would say just let them cook. Let's hope that they do make it one day, and it'll make everyone happy. But that's it for me. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. But tell me if you even played Bloodborne, because I highly recommend it, even as a first From Software. Interesting fact, Bloodborne was the first game I ever beat in the From Software catalog of games, and I think it's a great entry point that teaches you a lot of mechanics that can carry over to Elden Ring and Dark Souls. But that's my opinion. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to stop rambling. Goodbye.